Hello, welcome back. Merlin Gonzalez here, and we're trying to do a different flat platform here, so we'll see how this goes. Our key verse today is Matthew 6:10, which says, um, "Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven." So the reality revelation atmosphere is not just a revelation. It's actually an activation to change the atmosphere. Because once we understand more as far as what are those things that are of heaven that's not happening on earth. There's a lot of them, right? But we can start first with what we can control. Is that our how we control the peace that we have inside, how we can have the hope. We can choose to hope rather than despair, and then the healing that comes with the revelation. Now, healing comes from the Lord and in its own timing, but also we are commanded by the Lord to say, "Do as it is in heaven, here on earth." So that means that from the dimension of heaven, we bring that reality of heaven here on earth, and then who else does God wants to do that through? And that's through you and me. And then the same thing as provision. God said that we are the ambassadors of heaven, meaning representative from heaven here on earth to bring the reality of heaven here on earth and to activate the gifts that He has given us, the gifts from heaven, so that we can provide kingdom solutions to the world's problem. So, what happens then if we live in this kind of true reality revelation here on earth? What would your city, what would your workplace, what would your school look like if we activate the gifts that God has given us? And then what happens when we live in that revelation? Not just in that revelation, but actually act on it. How would you shape your city? That's something that you may want to think about. How would you shape even just the town through heaven on earth alignment? So once we align ourselves with heaven, then what happens is that heaven happens here on earth if we act on it. So it's more than just revelation, it's actually acting and then activation of heaven here on earth. And that takes faith. But see, faith, if you can fully understand that with your logical mind, then it's not faith at all. Because as Apostle Paul said to Timothy, that faith in the unseen. And that's where we bring the revelation through our faith. But there's also verses in the Bible that says through faith we start understanding the mysteries of God. So it's like how do you do that? But again, if we align ourselves, if we are always thankful to what God has given us, if we in again, Apostle Paul said, in everything give thanks. So always, he said, so in everything always give thanks. So what are those things that maybe it's hard for you to give thanks? Maybe it's blocking that alignment from heaven here on earth because of the doubts, maybe the worries, circumstances in life. But Apostle Paul said, in everything, meaning that whatever your circumstance, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's neutral, he said, in everything give thanks. So we rise above the situation, the circumstances of our lives, and that's how you bring the reality, revelation, atmosphere here on earth. So again, this is a new platform that we're doing. I'm going to try a couple more, but this is the last, for now, the last session for reality, revelation, atmosphere. And I want to plug in, we will do part of this teaching will be brought to our upcoming conference, January 24th, 1 through 6 p.m. So if you are here in Indianapolis or close by in Indianapolis, I encourage you to come, and we will have a worship from 3 different nations: Americans, United States, Haitian, and Latino worship team will be coming and also learning with us. So we will have full praise and worship teachings and then activation, January 24 from 1 to 6 p.m. at Fervent Prayer Church here in Indianapolis at East 38th Street. God bless you, and I'll talk to you soon.